Hi everyone, and welcome back to another one of our little sessions on how to cope without therapy. Today, today I thought about no theories and nothing really dramatic or intense like last time. Today we're just gonna talk about something rather simple and I named my page "How to Cope Without Therapy," and the accent is not really on the without therapy. It's more of how to cope, um, therapy or not. Mind you, if you've got serious struggles, uh, in my view, therapy can sometimes help. From the same perspective that we were talking yesterday, you get to articulate things to a stranger, pretty much, but they are very much hopefully a good one, trained, and have the ability to be with you and navigate things. That aside, therapy and all of that, that's not what today is about. Today is about how to cope. What actually coping is. And if you open a dictionary, Jesus Christ, you will find out that the first main explanation of the verb to cope in English starts with struggling. And I didn't like that, so I went to the next one down that said dealing with something um, with some degree of success. I kind of like that better than the struggle part. And well, it's not so much that I like it better, but with in my mind, coping with things is being faced with something and having to make something of it, to perhaps even adapt, to change its purpose, to take it in and have a reaction, or anything that involves some sort of dynamic. Doesn't have to be adversarial, but it is a dynamic. And coping does have that little bit of, well, there's something nasty that is happening and you need to try somehow to navigate it. um, and again, buzzwords. I hate buzzwords. I just want to find a way of talking, and I so wish that people would start talking in real words, not buzzwords. So it's not about coping successfully. It's more or less about making sense of something that we're part of, that we're in, that we're entangled in, making sense of it in a way that does not involve fighting or destruction or frustration too much, or we're not all warriors to struggle and be all equipped to, here it comes and I'm going to tear apart all of this kind of thing, push away the negatives, declare the positive side of it, and move on. Doesn't really work like that. We're not that black and white. And if you've watched that video, that trilogy on romantic relationships, most of the times in the emotional aspect of things, we, as much as there's logic in all of our thinking and all cognitive functions are there and ticking along, when it comes to emotions and the balance that we give things, we tend to we tend to go with the heart, go with the emotion. It's quite rare when we cope with something, or it takes few degrees of coping, of applying ourselves emotionally, until we realize emotion doesn't work. Emotions sometimes they fail us, so you start finding the logic and the rational side of things, and basically, well, you change tactics. So it's it's how we adapt. But even adapting or coping, it is so much so influenced, if you like, about our level of knowing knowing ourselves, in the sense of our buttons and our triggers, and how we react to unconsciously or involuntarily we react to things. I don't know if you've had any of these kind of situations. If you've got kids, you probably would relate to what I'm saying, but there are times when I hear myself saying something to my son, and in the same time that I say it, I'm like, Jesus, I sound like my mom or like my dad, and I've got like these flashbacks that come in, and it's funny how there's a whole lot of philosophy and psychology around your childhood, and attachment theories, and functional and dysfunctional, and I don't think I even know the number of books on that and how many of those there are. But in the end of the day, all there is, it's merely just us learning a habit and a routine from the time when we were just so young, and because it was in our space, in our close proximity, we tend to take that as it imprints on us. So it's the repetition and the proximity of it that makes it so prevalent, and makes it stick in our behavior and how we react. And it's very hard and very difficult to snap out of it, really, and to learn something else. And this is again another God knows unquantifiable number of books that are out there about self-help, and how to know yourself, and how to improve yourself, and how to love better, and how to live without hate, and how to be kind, and how to a whole lot of things that involve shifting and adapting and changing something from how you are into supposedly something better. And by simply by saying that, by default we're just making the previous, we're putting some sort of negative inflection on what it is that we want to change. And it's actually quite sad that we forget that in this whole process of adapting, we don't need to, we do not need to throw everything to the bin. We've got the beauty of who we are, the uniqueness of who we are, thanks to the same kind of habits and routines, and we are not supposed to wipe that out just because certain bits need tweaking. So I guess where I'm getting with all of this, coping itself, it's really, really, truly what you make of it. What you make of it for your own situation, for your own circumstances. A book can only tell you so much. A specialist can only tell you so much. Most of the times, you would go with your own emotions. You know, you feel uh, when something works and when something doesn't. There are times when you're drawn to certain people or certain situations, that certain patterns that repeat for you, and it it, it some people could just go through life without so much as questioning as why it's hard, or why they feel like fighting, or why it's a struggle, or why sometimes it just flows. And when you get those moments, those like this time around it was just so why does it feel different now? Why, what have I done differently? Why is it that this feels good? This actually feels good. And sometimes you go through moments where as much as best example I can give you is like, I hope you had moments when you were a kid and something would just happen and it would move you to tears, and it would make you so, I don't know, someone took your ball and you were crying, begging and trying to get that back, or just silent and not knowing what happens, and then someone just gives the ball back to you, and all of a sudden you're like this radiant little munchkin. And it's those moments, if you do come across those moments when you're a grown up, because we're no longer kids, but those are almost like choice points or turning points, or they're full of meaning. It's like moments like that, they make you almost like looking at yourself in the mirror and going down that trail of thought. I feel this. You're no longer in the hustle and bustle of every day. You're no longer. You keep continuing with your everyday, whatever that day is. You go on with your work. Go on with your mom stuff, dad stuff, uh, whatever stuff you usually do. But then you have those little waves and fluctuations, and you're almost in tears, and then something brightens it up for you, and the tears are no longer sad tears, and they're joy tears. And you know, those those moments, I think, are the best times for you to look in the mirror and just uh, embrace what's happening to you, really, or with you, or what you're going through, because that is you um, learning how to cope. That is you learning how to adapt. That is you in the pure form, understanding that just because you have a belief and an opinion right now, it you can shift that. You can you can flex that. You can twist it into something new that feels so much better. And I think that's the beauty of going with the flow. Don't expect this expression, just go with the flow. Well, the flow doesn't just make you walk on clouds. The flow takes you from one pole of tears to the other one and anywhere in between. The flow gets you to look in the mirror and start not just liking what you see, but have that feeling that you're you're making it. You're actually in tune. You're understanding this. You're growing. You're growing. You're becoming someone that knows themselves. Hence the mirror. Hence the observing, if you like. Allow yourself not to just draw inside in silence. Allow yourself not to just snap. And those will happen, and guess what, actually those are part of the flow. Just don't stay there. Allow yourself to 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 get what that means. Allow yourself to suspend it for what you think it's 100% true and you will never change your mind, and suspend that belief and ask yourself, I've done this before, I've seen this before, I know it means something, I know it's in my favor somehow, I just need to see how. And I guess the more you ask yourself these questions, the more you give yourself permission to change your mind, to understand yourself, to adapt, to feel. Go ahead and feel. Go ahead and talk about it. It's a great, I think personally, it's a great way of dealing with things, of understanding, of making sense, if you'd like. So that's pretty much it for today. No reading, no famous books, there's plenty of them. It's really well and truly just sometimes simplicity. Just remember that, take a step back and look at it simply. Live all the frequencies, all of the I guess in intentional emotion that comes out of you, and then ask yourself, where does that come from? How did I do that? Did I do that before? Why do I keep doing this? So yeah, until next time, I hope you will look in the mirror and try to find out, where's that emotion coming from. Thank you for your time. I'm Gabriela, and I'll see you tomorrow, most probably for some more theories, because I kind of like this. Thank you. Bye.